Hello everyone, I'm your host Aaron, and welcome to another review of Demon Slayer. Today's episode, What Are You? This episode begins with Black and White Entertainment District. A lone courtesan confronts none other than Daki. A woman accuses Daki of being responsible for missing persons within the house. To this, Daki only smiles. I gotta say, every time the demons are animated, especially this arc, they emit such an ominous presence. UFO Table really outdid themselves. Anyways, the doors shut right after, and Daki steps out alone. We then skip back to the present. In the district, a tourist heads to the Ogamoto house. Suddenly, the narrative switches to Makio, one of Tengen's missing wives. Trapped within the house, Daki continues interrogating her over the letters. Once again, we see a determined Inosuke. Meanwhile, at Kyogoku house, Zenitsu muses over a lack of information he's found so far. The only thing of interest was the owner's house's death recently. Perhaps this ties into the scene we first saw. While walking through the house, Zenitsu hears a girl sobbing. However, the point of view switches back to Inosuke as he continues to investigate. Daki forces Makio to be quiet, sensing Inosuke. Then, Inosuke goes into Makio's room, finding it damaged. He realizes the demon must be in the attic, and throws a bowl of food at it. The ceiling shakes in response. The sounds are so intense and creepy. I love the vibe of this arc so far. Anyways, Inosuke chases the bumps. He believes he's found it until he miscalculates his punch and accidentally hits the tourist from before. I mean, that's just funny if anything else, but the chase seems really well animated too. It's so urgent and dynamic. Inosuke ultimately loses to the demon, and the story again switches to Zenitsu. Zenitsu finds the crying girl in the destroyed room. He tries to console her, but Daki appears behind. At long last, we have this panel fully animated. Truly something I was looking forward to. Daki asks what the two are doing in her room, to which Zenitsu is too afraid to answer. He notes that demons and humans sound different, and that Daki's sound is extremely quiet. Then Zenitsu comes to a realization. Daki is an upper rank. Other girls try to stick up for Zenitsu, but he does finally answer Daki. He explains he heard a girl crying and the room was in disarray. To this, Daki lays down some insults. Somehow, she comes off meaner animated. Daki grabs the crying girl by the ear, hard enough to make her bleed, and then Zenitsu tells her to let go of the girl. Finally, we see what Tanjiro is up to in the Tokido house. The answer? Chores. Meanwhile, Inosuke tries, and fails, to sense the demon once more. Zenitsu at Kyogoku house, again, asks Daki to stop. Daki throws some sick burns and knocks out Zenitsu. Afterwards, we leap back in time to 2 days before the Slayers entered the entertainment district. Its dead owner of Kyoko House saying she can't protect Daki anymore. She goes on saying Daki isn't human. We see a knife behind her. After killing her, Daki reports to Muzan. This conversation reveals that Daki has killed 7 Hashira. Right after, Zenitsu is hit so hard by Daki that he flies away. The housemaster begs Daki not to go further, in which Daki's face and voice suddenly change. She tells the master she'll head off to work and clean up the room. It's downright eerie to see how quickly Daki changes her persona. Anyways, Daki realizes that the Demon Slayers have infiltrated her. The episode ends with Tanjiro marking that there's a murky scent in the air, very much foreshadowing as to what's to come. Post-credits, Zenitsu wakes up the girls from before worrying over him. They thank him and call him kind-hearted, and just as they leave, Daki's obi wraps around Zenitsu. That wraps up this episode. I'm your host. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you all later.